fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
Got the old 450 running, but barely. Smoking pretty good. I'm out of practice, out of shape, and ready for battle. Pretty good turnout today. We got lots of frozen ground, lots of ice and snow. A little chilly. My hands are a little numb already. So we've got 100 miles, 2 loops, 2 separate loops. I think this is short of 100 miles actually.
What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the Racerred channel, and this is the 2023 Desert Racing Series. I really didn't take it that seriously at first, especially these first couple of races. I didn't have too much faith in the bike. We had had a lot of issues since the MVMX race the year prior to this one, and so we had lots of engine issues. The bike was all bent up, and 2 races after this one we actually get it straightened out and we get the engine tight to where it's not losing oil and stuff like that. So yeah, I got to be working pretty good, but it's really an accomplishment just to finish this 100-mile race. Each of these races is just a lot of work, a lot of time and effort, and after you get done with the race, you've raced for 3 hours straight and you're just completely spent, completely exhausted. And so I didn't really think too much about the series or really seeing that as too much of an accomplishment or that I would go after, but after a few races in, I was like, man, I've got to go for the series and like really put some effort into it. Now that I've won it, it's an awesome feeling because each race is an accomplishment, and then you put them all together. I don't know, it just definitely adds to the whole experience to do every race and have it all come together. Is pretty cool. So I'll definitely wear the jacket at the end of the year. In this race, there's a lot of oil seeping past the rings, and I have a low oil condition during this race. About the halfway mark, my clutch starts slipping. Yeah, we just got the bike straightened out as well, so we had been dealing with bent triple clamp and a bent, basically the whole front of the end of the bike was bent because I ran into a tree in Washington the prior year. During MVMX, which is a race in Hagerman, it got dirt just sucked right past the air filter and into the engine, and it really messed up my engine for a long time. We didn't get it straightened out for a very long time. But so anyways, I didn't take this series too seriously. I was just taking it race by race, and during this race I got second place. I got edged out of first by like a quarter of a second, and it was a pretty controversial pass right at the end of this race. But I thought I was in like last. I wasn't racing the first, the last quarter of this race. I wasn't really racing because I had engine issues. The bike was acting up, and I was just like, well, there's no way I'm in the contention for the lead anyways. But boy, was I wrong. I thought I was like not even in the race, and come to find out I was in first place. So you never know. You should definitely keep racing to the end. Even if you're having bike issues, you might as well just push the stupid thing to the very end. But it's pretty cool to win the series. I won the A-Class Championship Series, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, each race is a lot of time and effort put into it. So you put all of those together to make a series. And yeah, it's quite the accomplishment to get it all done. And like after each race, you're like, why did I enter? That's so much pain and suffering that you put yourself through, because it's brutal on the body for sure. 100 miles going as fast as you can is really brutal on the body. This is the race after the Oriana 100, which is the National Hare and Hound. And this is the first time the bike itself had been running right and working right for a long time, over a year. This bike has been really messed up for over a year at this point, so this is the first time it's actually running good and working like it should. So here at the start, it's a pretty high-speed start. I never ride above my ability, or at least I try not to. even during the starts where it's all dusty and you just have low visibility. I rarely ever go down unless I'm crashed into. So I feel pretty much in control during these races for the most part. I think I ride probably at about 75% during a race, and I ride about 50% during a normal ride. So it keeps me pretty safe out there. As you can see in this race, there are some people who have crashed, and like you definitely don't want to be that person that's on the side of the trail with broken stuff, broken body parts, because it just it's not worth it. None of us are getting paid, so it's just for fun, and to stay safe is the main priority. But man, this was really, really good traction, and a lot of it was really high speed. I had a little bit of everything, actually. There were some sections where it was really technical, going up through rocky canyons and stuff like that. And honestly, this is probably my favorite race in terms of like the conditions, just because the traction was fairly predictable all the way through. So yeah, we were really able to just haul for most of this. We were just flying. And this race I ended up getting first. So Oriana 100 I got second. This race I ended up getting first. And the race after this one I'll end up getting fourth due to a crash. I just talked about not crashing unless I get run into or something like that. Well, I got run into pretty hardcore in the race after this one. I'm dealing with arm pump still during this race. I dealt with it big time in the Oriana 100, and I dealt with it pretty bad here as well. For the first half loop, I would say I had a really bad arm pump until I got warmed up. So after the arm pump kind of faded away and I got warmed up, I did much better. And the way I got rid of my arm pump was just to stop working out so hard. That really helped. So I was just lifting heavy, and I stopped doing that, and it really helped get blood flow through my arms and help my muscles quit tensing up so much during races. So by this point, I'm actually able to ride without too much arm pump. The race after this one, I'm good to go with arm pump, and I feel pretty solid. Although the crash ends up really jacking up my shoulder the race after this one. But here is like towards the end of the race right here. It's pretty much coming up. I think I'm on the last like 2 mile stretch right here, and you can tell I'm still going pretty fast. And usually that just means my arm pump isn't too bad. If I can keep going fast at the very end, that means the arm pump isn't killing my ability to ride the bike. And for those of you who don't know what arm pump is, it's basically a racer's condition only, really. If you're going as fast as you can for a long time, you just get tensed up forearms, basically, and your blood flow can't get through your arm, and it just feels like you've got a limp arm. You just have a tightened up arm that blood can't get through, and so it really makes grip strength low, and it makes it really hard to hold on to anything. So the race prior to this one, I ended up crashing late in the race, and I got up. It wasn't a major crash. It was more than just a tip over too. I hit a rock and it threw the front end out from under me going down a little stretch in the sand. But I got up, and like I said, I just kind of quit racing after that. The engine was messing up. I knew it was overheating, and it was giving me a lot of issues with the clutch. And so I figured, well, I'm not even in contention. And that's when I got passed at the last second, that last race. So on this one, I'm hauling during the very end of the race. I'm still flying, making sure nobody can pass me. There was nobody going to pass me at the end of that one because I was pretty much topped out going by the pits. Okay, so this one is the third race of the year. This is the Sand City 100. Here I'm making the passes that I can right at the start. Again, I'm never riding above my head. I only ride from what I can see. And during this race, I thought for sure this crash was an intentional assassination, because it felt like I was in the open. I wasn't cutting across anywhere. I was going straight, and somebody just slammed into me hard. So during the race, I was like, yep, they did that on purpose, because like it was like right here you can see just he slammed straight into my handlebars with his bark busters. And man, you just never know when something like that's going to happen. So honestly, the chute at the end of that stretch was hard to see, and there was just so much dust I had to work my way around it, and that's what caught me. So I just wasn't going fast enough, because I had to actually turn and kind of squeeze through that chute, and that left me open for good smashing into. So that was really my bad. I should have, probably gone a lot slower. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I could have done different there. I went around the chute and just started accelerating forward, and that's when I got slammed into. So it took me a while to get back up and racing, and I'm in dead last here, trying to work my way up through the back of the pack, which is way difficult. This was a really dusty race. My pace was really slow during this race because there was no point where I was not passing somebody, and the dust was just a wall in front of me the entire time. So you definitely don't want to start from dead last. It's not a good idea during these desert races. Like I said, I don't ride above my head, and that means that I don't ride through dust faster than I can navigate obstacles. That means if there's a wall of dust in front of me, I'm going pretty slow. But ended up tearing my shoulder, tearing the ligaments in my shoulder, my right one. And so I'm racing this entire race with a really messed up right shoulder, and I knew it was pretty injured. I could definitely feel it was injured during this race, so I couldn't hold on very well with my right arm. So I did most of the grip strength stuff with the left, which is weird because I've got the throttle on the right. But yeah, so I was pretty severely injured during this one, and yeah, it is what it is. The guy who ran into me, I actually caught him and passed him the second loop of this race, so even though he took me out pretty hard, I still was able to beat him during the race, which for some reason is one of my goals. If you slam into me or something and make me crash, I always want to beat you anyway. But there's a lot of close racing here. Like this, as I look through this particular race, there's a lot going on, and that's just the nature of coming from behind. There's a lot of passes happening and a lot of traffic and a lot of crashes. People can just feel your footsteps, and they just start to panic, and they end up crashing. And I saw a lot of crashes during this race. I didn't edit all of them into this. This edit is really just random clips. I mean, I really didn't take much time from each race to put in here. Just going off of memory, I put what I could remember happened here and there, and I just kind of scanned through really quick. So I didn't want this video to take me like 16 hours, because each of these races has about 2.5 or 3 hours of footage. But yeah, I'm just dodging people who are crashing left and right during this one. Broke my camera lens, had a rock go up there, and yeah, end up through the finish line. I got 4th place during this one. And overall, I can't remember what I got, but anyway, here's the next race. This is the NVMX race in Hagerman. I really like this start because there's a 2-man start, which means there's not a lot of traffic to contend with. Once I get out front, I can go at my own pace as opposed to following a dust cloud. And I've always had trouble with this bike starting. So for me, I'm always starting from, somewhat behind of the pack. So I make this pass early on, and then I make one more pass coming up, and after that there's like 1 or 2 people in front of me, and I don't ever see any more riders in front of me. So there's just clean track. I can just go as fast as I want to, which is how I like it. I mean, this course is definitely my favorite setup in terms of how they start the racers. It's the safest for one. You can go your own speed, and you don't have to deal with dust too badly because of the starts, the way they do them. So yeah, they do starting every 30 seconds, and that's the way to do it, man. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I got out front here. I'm in first place now, and I'm just flying, going as fast as I can, and I get a gigantic lead. And I end up getting lost twice. This is kind of the most disappointing race of the season, actually, because I had such a huge lead built up. But I end up getting lost, and then I get lost again, and that's pretty much how it went. I got lost the second time by a long shot, and I just was riding around. I had to turn around and find the course again, and it was just a real pain. So the second lap, or the second loop, I end up trying to chase down first place, and I got right up to him by the end of the race, but I didn't quite catch him. So second place it was. But very dry conditions. I don't mind that at all. Not too much wind. It was pretty still. One of the obstacles on this course were cows, but here we are. This is the intersection. Obviously no signage. I just take the one that is visibly clear right away. So I took a left since there was nothing blocking that way. So I just assumed automatically to go that way. But ended up being a right-hand turn there. So unfortunate, definitely unfortunate. Eventually I just get back on course. I'm still in first place. As you watch down this valley, I still have a huge lead. There's no dust at all in that valley. I have probably, I don't even know how big of a lead I have at this point of the race. I have a huge lead. So still looking very good at this point. Definitely my hands were feeling like they were getting pretty blistered. But I'm actually going the wrong direction right here. I know you can't tell. I couldn't tell. I see no markings telling me to go anywhere else. But there was a marking way off to my left up that ravine, and I just absolutely demolished my first place lead right here. He had a pretty huge lead on me after I got lost there. So yeah, you can see he's nowhere to be found in the pits, exiting or entering. So he's got a pretty good lead on me now. So I've cut through a lot of the race here. I'm just showing that I'm getting closer to that dust plume out there. And it was definitely, I was so exhausted after the first lap. I had nothing left. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you exactly how close I was to the first place guy in my class. I almost had him. He was right there. I was approximately 12 seconds behind him, as I will show on a third-person video that I got. But here I'm coming in for the finish and right behind first place. So it was a lot of fun. I was pretty happy with the results, even though I did get lost and lose that lead. But that's part of racing, and it's part of the adventure. But man, I was really glad to be done with the race on this one. I really had to earn that one. I was completely spent. It was so hot out there. I was ready to cool down. Thank you. I forgot to turn in my fender card, so I had to have my wife go turn in my fender card for me. And go sit down and rest. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the race. That was a pretty good one. So I think that's it for this season for the most part. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you stopping by to watch the video. It has been an awesome racing season. I had a ton of fun. Each course was great. We had good weather. It was a lot of fun. I had a couple downs during the race, or during the season, I should say. But other than that, it was all fun. It was just a blast. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.